Okay, let's try this again. This is why I should probably, this is probably why I should practice this stuff beforehand. Hey, I'm back. Here we go. This should be working. Hey guys.
Hey, it
Yay!
worked.
It worked.
Yay.
Thank you for coming on. You guys, if you don't know who Ray is, like, he doesn't even realize how big of a mentor he is to me. I've been following him forever. I've been doing this
Aw,
for a long time, and I've been following forever. And he is a really great wealth of knowledge. So I'm so glad that you are here with us today, Ray.
thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I have Ray has actually shared, and you guys know that like I'm a big name dropper. So Ray has actually shared the stage with people like Tony Robbins, Rachel Hollis, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, Magic Johnson. So I mean, this guy is legit, seriously legit. So take it
Too
away.
kind. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I appreciate you. I know I was also trying to get on my computer. I'm like, I don't know if it works that way, but glad we got it worked out. So thanks for having me. So yeah, I am. I'm excited to be on here. You know, we're days away from our big event, so it's just like crazy around here. And so yeah, I want to. I know we'll be talking about being persistent, consistent, and just showing up no matter what. I don't want to assume that everyone knows my story, so I'll just real quickly share that. I'm seeing so many nice comments. I'm gonna have to come in here more often.
I talk about you a lot.
What's that?
I talk about you a lot.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. And so I'm someone that I worked my way up in the corporate world to a pretty good salary, what I think most would, especially for someone who didn't finish high school on time and never finished college. It was a really good salary for someone in that situation. And but what I noticed is the harder I worked, the more they would pay me, but the more they would demand of me. And so I was missing, I was missing, school trips. I was having to change family trips at last minute. I was missing ball games. I was missing important stuff in my life that here I was working so hard for my family, but the harder I worked, the less of my family I got to see. And I'm not someone that bashes jobs. Like I think that's a practice that network marketers need to stop because not everyone hates their job. I mean, and the truth is, I didn't hate my job. I just saw that my future in that career was definitely going to limit my freedom to spend with my family. And so although I wanted to make more money and spend less time at work, that wasn't in the org chart. And so all I saw was, my boss and his boss and her boss, they're all making more money than me, but they're also more miserable, and they're also spending less time with their family. And so that was going to be my future unless I did something about it. And so I left the corporate world back in 2005, not for network marketing, actually. I actually left it for real estate. Here in the state of Florida in 2005, real estate was red hot. What could go wrong? And so I got into real estate despite zero support from anyone around me. No one thought that was a good idea because they were like, dude, you've worked 7 years in this career. You've worked your way up. You're going to throw all that away. That's crazy. And no one supported that idea. But I just knew that although I didn't know it wasn't going to be real estate. I just knew that I wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to spend time the way I wanted to. And so I got into real estate, which went really well for a few years until the market changed and I got wiped out, which is certainly didn't feel like it at the time, but wiping out was the best thing that ever happened to me actually when it comes to business because it taught me how to appreciate money more. It taught me that there may be another option for building a business and making money from home, which led me to the conclusion of getting into network marketing. And so when I got serious about network marketing, which was in 2009, 10 years ago, I I was dead broke. I was in personal foreclosure. I had gone through a divorce. At one point was sleeping on my buddy's couch, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't. I didn't have any kind of credit score to borrow any money or anything like that. My credit cards, almost all of them had just stopped allowing me to use them because I wasn't paying them and I didn't have money. Fortunately, I met an amazing young lady who was working at the makeup counter and paying my utility bills, which is now my beautiful wife, Jessica. And so, you know, I tell guys all the time, I'm like, you know, if you're broke, just find a sugar mama. I mean, I don't see the problem. But, and so she was there when, and she believed in me when I didn't believe in me, when I was at my very lowest. And that's one of the many reasons I'm just so grateful for her. And so when I got serious about network marketing, which was in July of 2009, I decided I was going to make this darn thing happen. And I had tried network marketing in the past, but you know, a combination of not being coachable, not being my focus, and I don't know, just not the right environment, I guess. You know, I had failed. I had tried and didn't really do very well with it. I got some sales, but no duplication. I didn't understand duplication, to be honest. And so 2009, I was going to change that. And so there were a few things that I did every single day, and I just was determined to make it work. And so I did end up, long story short, become the #1 income earner in that company back then. And then my wife teamed up with me a few months later, and the two of us really crushed it. She became the #1 female earner. Our position was the #1 earner in the company. And back then, 10, 11 years ago, we were doing it on doing a lot of our work on social media before very many people were doing that. So back then, most network marketers did not think, especially like your old school, like more traditional network marketers and trainers, did not think social media would duplicate. They said, oh, that's for the fancy kids, and you know, that ain't going to work. Now it's pretty accepted that people use social media, but 10 years ago it wasn't. And so I remember people chastising us for using social media, but when they saw it work, they started, you know, more and more people started being curious. And so without really meaning to, we built a training company. And I mean, back when we were actively building a team, which we no longer are, as of 3 years ago, we had companies hiring us to go and speak on their stage and run events to help their team. That's how hungry people were for social media training that actually duplicated. And so today we focus on coaching and training, work with a lot of different companies, a lot of different leaders. We have a mastermind of leaders where we have people with teams of, you know, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. Our largest client has 700,000 in their organization, and we just love what we do. We created Rank Makers about 2 years ago, and that's where I go live every single day. I give an action step and a training. And since early 2018, we've helped network marketers bring in over 128,000 new customers, 26,000 new reps, and achieve 6,000 rank advances. So we're very focused on production. And so the three things, I'm going to share this, and then I'll lead into what's really important about these three things. So the three things that I was consistently doing every single day was, one, I had read a book called Go for No, and it just made sense to me. You know, I was kind of in a dark place anyway, because I was coming out of like a year, maybe almost 2 years of just kind of a funk, like a almost depression like. And so I believed I could get some no's. I don't know that I believed I could get some yeses, but I believed I could get some no's. And so the book Go for No taught me that if you actually set a no goal, and you just go for no's, you will eventually get yeses, but you'll also reduce your energy around rejection. You'll reduce your energy around how you feel when you do hear a no. And so I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. And so I set a no goal of 20 no's a day. So every single day before my head hit the pillow, I had to get 20 no's. Now, a non-response is not a no, because I could have had 1,000 of those a day. But I'm saying someone actually saying, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want it. No, get the heck out of here. Some kind of no, had to be a no. And so the first thing that I did in my daily method of operation was go for 20 no's a day. The second thing is, because I hated prospecting, is I wanted to attract people to me. And I thought, you know what, the best way to do that is video. And so back before there was Facebook Live, before there was Periscope, before there was, you know, the kind of cool technology we have now, before even Instagram, I was doing a video a day every single day, which I've actually kept up, crazy enough, for 10 years now. So I've actually done a video every day for 10 years, which is nuts. But I was doing it because I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to do this so much that someone somewhere is going to see this stuff and reach out to me. And so if you analyze my results to work, like the first 6 months of doing that, it made no sense at all. And this is why people don't do it. You know, people will do it, you know, they'll do like, you know, 3 a week for 2 weeks, and they're like, oh, I'm exhausted and I didn't get anything. Well, I mean, I had months of that kind of stuff where just I was doing these things all the time. Nothing was happening, but I just believed that if I kept doing it, eventually it was going to turn the corner. And so I did. And the third thing is I just did self-development. And that has drastically changed over the years. So in the beginning, because I was broke in foreclosure, I was doing YouTube videos. I was, you know, going to the library. I was, you know, getting whatever I could get for affordable or free. And then it went to, I started purchasing courses. I started attending events. And then it went to, I started just hiring coaches. So I tend to more hire coaches now, so I can just get their time, ask my direct question, get out of there. It's a lot faster. It's a much larger investment, but it is, time is much more precious than money especially once you start making some. And so I wanted, you know, right now we have 3 or 4 coaches that we can go to in almost any situation. There's really no surprise situation that we don't know who to go to. We can go to either a mindset coach, scaling coach, business coach, that sort of stuff. And so I've shared that kind of story forever. And people will come up to me and say, Ray, man, I'm going to get 20 no's a day, or I'm going to do a video a day. And I can only think of one person that I'm aware of that has ever actually done that. And he came up to me at an event and he told me, he's like, and I stupidly didn't like get his picture or anything like that. I should have. But he came up to me at an event and he said, dude, I heard your story and I did it. And that was new to me because people always told me they were going to do it and then they never did. But he was like, yeah, I did it. And now I'm $1 million earner. I'm like, oh, wow, that's good for you. That's awesome. And so like 20 no's a day, every day is intense. It's so easy to miss a day. And the way that it works is if you miss a day, it is, I mean, I don't know, 9 times easier to miss a second day. And the reason I know this is just from like anything in life, working out, right? You know, taking time out for the kids. If you don't, like, we read to our daughter, mainly, usually me, but we read to our daughter every single night before she goes to bed. I know that time could be filled with other stuff. And so like, you know, if we're away or something happens, I mean, actually, I don't even remember last time it happened where we didn't, but I just know that if we don't, it just becomes easier and easier for that to be like just a memory of things we used to do. I know as of the birth of my son, Graham, who's now a month and a couple days, I was in the hospital and I couldn't get to the gym. So I'm like, oh man, you know, because I've been going to the gym, you know, consistently. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing 200 push-ups. And so I've done 200 push-ups every single day since. But I remember I missed a day, and it wasn't like I just like, I ain't doing it. I did like 60 in the morning, and then I you know, I'm just like, I'll knock them out the rest of the day sometime. Totally forgot. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, no. I was like so upset because I knew the strength of day 2. I knew that day 2 was going to hurt. And I so wanted to not do them on day 2. I came so close. I mean, I think I even laid in bed. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And I had to do them. And so when you aren't consistent, it becomes so seductive, comfortable, easy, justified to not be consistent on day 2. And so day 2, you should be terrified of day 2. I'm mortified of day 2. I hate day 2. And so I look to not have day 2. And it reminds me of, there's a there's a great article, I think in the maybe Entrepreneur or Forbes or Inc. or one of those things. And this comic was about to go on stage, or maybe he had just come off stage. I think he had just come off stage, and he sees backstage, he sees Jerry Seinfeld, like one of his idols, and he's like, "Oh my God, Jerry Seinfeld!" And he's like, "Jerry." He goes, "Hey man, I'm just a startup comic. I'm just getting going, and what's like a secret or what's a tip you got for me?" And Jerry said, he goes, "All right, no problem, man." He goes, "Go get yourself a big calendar, and every single day write an hour of jokes." And it might have been longer, but I think it was an hour of jokes. Write an hour of jokes, and every day that you write for an hour just jokes, put an X through that day. And you want to create a daisy chain that never ends. And that's what I've done every year, every day for 30 years.
Wow.
30 years. He has not missed a day. Why is he worth $500 million? Because of that. And so, but here's the kick. Despite all this stuff that I've just shared, it really doesn't mean much, because the awareness of what to do, the awareness of the power of consistency, I found isn't enough. It's not enough to get people to actually do stuff. And so I asked, because I taught routine for years, and I'm like, why is nobody doing any of this stuff? Like, they come, they're fired up, they're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then they never do it. And so I asked myself a different question. Instead of asking myself, what did I do? I asked, why do I do it? Like, why am I so relentless? Why am I just ruthless at doing this every day, no matter how I feel, no matter if my tummy hurts, no matter if it's raining outside, no matter if it's busy, no matter if, unfortunately, there's a death in the family or something like that? Like, what makes me so ruthless and relentless on doing these actions every single day? And I found that the answer lies in, who do you want to become? Why are you doing this, and who do you want to become? And so that is something that is such a driver for me of, I want to impact as many people that are seeking, positive improvement in their finances or relationships, and that's all across the entire planet. That drives me so much that I can't resist. I can't resist not only doing the work, but investing to learn how to better do the work. And so, like, this is something that's just, it drives me, like, just like, imagine the most ruthless boss on the planet, and you call up and you're sick and you're like, "I don't feel good, bro." And he's like, what does that have to do with your work? Get in here and do the work. Like, that's the vision of who I want to become. It's ruthless. It doesn't care. I mean, there was a period of probably, man, I'm kind of ashamed to say this, but there was a period of probably 2, maybe 3 weeks where I had such severe pain in my shoulders and elbows. I was popping pain pills before I did my video, because I didn't want people like seeing me grimace on video, and I just didn't care. And here's the rub. Here's the rub. There is commitment, and then there's everything else. And so without commitment, okay, you will find every reason on the planet. You're like, I got 18 kids, I got 3 jobs, I'm not feeling good. What would I even talk about every day, right? Who am I even going to find? Like, you'll find every excuse lies in the non-commitment. And so something I heard one of our coaches, Grant Cardone, say, he said, if you lack creativity, you actually lack commitment. So I wake every day, and I go, one example is I go live in Rankmakers. It's not if I can think of a good topic. It's because I'm committed, I locate a topic. Big difference. See, some people will be like, yeah, I'll go live if I think of something. If I went live when I thought of something, and just like, if I think of something good, I'll go live. If I got something worth telling, I'd never go live. And that's the difference, is there's commitment. It's kind of like, another person that does a great job of this is Stephen Pressfield. So Stephen Pressfield is an author, and I'm so grateful that he wrote some business books. Now he's written a lot of books. Like, he wrote The Gates of Fire, which is about the one war, the Sparta. This is Sparta, like the 300 War, the I forget the name of it right now, but he wrote books. He's written a lot of history books and things like that, but he wrote 2 business books called The War of Art and Turning Pro. And in The War of Art, he really lays it down. He's like, you sit down, if you want to be an author, if you want to be an artist, you sit down and you draw. You sit down and you write. Not on the days you feel like it, not on the days you're inspired, not on the days that you've been blessed, not on, like, he just really lays it out very plainly. Just like Jerry Seinfeld, just like, what I'm suggesting to you is to do the work regardless of how you feel. Do the work regardless of what's going on in your life. You do the work, and the rest of your life you'll find will fit in. It's just how it works. And so, like, we have lots going on. There's never a time where it's not going on. Like, imagine if I'm gonna do videos when I don't have a lot of things going on. That would be never. I literally never have tons of stuff not going on. And so you have to ask yourself, who do I want to become? What kind of impact do I want to make while there's blood pumping through my veins? Do I want to build, women abuse shelters in my town? Do I want to build water wells in Kenya? Do I want to build schools in Guatemala? Do I want to create a new education system for African entrepreneurs? What is it that you want to do while there's blood pumping through your veins? And you have to start associating your work with progressing toward the vision of who you actually want to become. And that's when it becomes meaningful. I mean, there are many days where maybe the video I do doesn't make a huge difference, or I don't get some big thank you letter or something like that. But I know that by continuing to show up, those things will happen. And if I don't, there is no chance of those things happening. And so if you want to be more consistent, you have to draw different conclusions. If you think that, building your business and network marketing is you having to pester people, bug them, or whatever, then you're going to justify not doing the work. See, I see the work that we do and the work that you do is the work of possibility. Somewhere there is a single mom on her hands and knees praying for an opportunity, praying for some way to help her kids. And if you don't open your mouth, then those mouths don't get fed. That person doesn't get helped. There is no possibility. And so I've seen so many people that have come from nothing, that have come from, homelessness, that has come from abused relationships, that have come from being dead broke, to creating new possibilities in network marketing for themselves, for their family, for their children, that I know you doing the work is a good thing. You have to draw that conclusion. You have to commit to that. And you have to commit knowing that there's going to be people you help that screw you over. There's going to be people that you help that quit your team and try to steal people from your team. And there's going to be people that just don't appreciate what you've done for them. But if you focus on them, you'll never get to those who do. You'll never get to the people that are pointing at you from stage with tears rolling down their eyes, thanking you for playing big, for talking to them. And so you got to draw different conclusions with the work. The work is the same. How you feel about the work, that's what you got to study. You got to look at that and say, hey man, this is, I hated prospecting, hated reaching out to people. And I tried to, law of attraction it. I tried to, when I was reaching out to people that I know, I couldn't help but think they were going to say no. But I made the call anyway. And that's the big difference. Is I think a lot of people, they think successful people, they just, have some massive belief in themselves. I didn't have a belief in myself, but I did the work. And so you don't actually require belief in yourself to do the work. I didn't. And at some point it started to sink in that, the more work I did, the more chances I had of making a positive impact in someone's life, because I would hear it. People would say, hey man, you've changed my life. I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. But if I didn't do the work, I never would have heard that, which never would have built my belief muscle, which never would have, had me continue all this craziness over the last 10 years. And so I hope that was helpful to you. If you like this kind of training, you would probably like Rank Makers. We do have, if you wanted to check it out, you can at getrankmakers.com. It's something where I go live every single day. It is $20 a month, but it's no contract. If it's not the best training you've ever had, then just get your money back. It's okay. We won't yell at you or anything. But if you like this, feel free to give Michelle some good feedback. And if you hated it, well, don't blame her, blame me. She had no idea how terrible it would be. And I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you so much, Ray. This was totally inspiring. And I think a lot of people here, and again, I tell them things like that you say all the time. And I know that they know your name just from me speaking your name. So
Nice.
This was
Appreciate
amazing. Rank Makers is awesome. I've been in there for several years now, and Ray he always gives 100%, and it's amazing. So again, thank you so much, Ray.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I see a lot of rank makers in here.
Yes.
Connie, what's up? She just became one. So thanks so much. And I appreciate you. Kelly just joined. That's so cool. But yeah, thanks for having me. And I look forward to seeing you guys inside the group.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.